Hello, and welcome back. We have seen many theories by now. And it is not difficult to see that all of them always focus on how we deal with our people. Avolio and Base developed what they call the full-range leadership model, organized around two different dimensions. One is the degree of activity. Basically, this axis measures the level of engagement of leaders, including their involvement in the leadership. The second dimension is the effectiveness axis. Here, we try to plot how effective a leader is, and how he or she motivates and moves people or teams toward the success of the projects. And also, the outcomes of the leader's actions and his or her performance regarding the needs and motivation of his or her team. We can flow from what can be defined as the most passive and most ineffective style, which is those one called laissez-faire. This is basically the lack of any leadership. This can have unwanted consequences, such as the rising of conflicts, also creating disarray and displeasure towards the leader, the project or the organization. Following to a more active and effective styles, we find one called management by exception. This kind of leadership is commonly known as MBE. As we mentioned before, it is slightly more effective than the laissez-faire style. This kind of management has two different styles or categories. The most passive one is called passive MBE. It is called passive because this kind of leader you always actuate when things go wrong, trying to look for the wrongdoings and exposing them in a negative way. When speaking of passive MBE leaders, it is easy to see that they remain hidden and only show themselves when something goes wrong. As they are going to expose the bad behaviors of their colleagues, it is common for them to hide the mistakes, to make the leader be away from them. The most positive and effective MBE is known as active MBE. In this case, the leader tries to act before something goes wrong, trying to avoid unwanted scenarios. The main problem is that they just point out the wrongdoings, trying to show the mistakes of their workers. In general, they tend to lose their time doing micromanagement, trying to supervise and monitor all the group actions and behaviors. So, we can say that these kinds of leadership tend to be negative, provoking rather than solving more conflicts and problems. They are destructive. A very typical way of leadership that we find after the laissez-faire and the MBES styles in the chart, it is the contingent reward. The basic idea of this leader is to avoid wrong behaviors by rewarding all the positive ones and not by punishing the negative performances. This means to reward those behaviors. To be able to achieve that, a contingent reward leader has to set objectives and goals together with their teammates. All of them have to be clear and measurable, always focus on the results. When setting the goals, it is needed to agree on the rewards for the success of the different goals. The contingent reward leader should work two important tools. The first one is to monitor, avoiding the micromanaging, and the most important, to give feedback to correct unwanted behaviors and strengthen the positive ones, so that the different tasks meet their goals. This kind of leadership style makes people feel better than the others. They are comfortable working in their team and improve their performance. Both the MBE and the contingent reward styles are what is known as transactional leadership. Why? Because basically they are a transaction, the same as when you go to the grocery store and buy some fruit. You pay for the fruit and you get a good. Whenever the worker's performance is positive, then he obtains a reward, and when the performance is not what the leader expects, the worker can be punished. The last step is the most effective and active kind of leadership. This leadership style is called transformational leadership. The main idea of this kind of leadership is to make the workers be more proactive, autonomous, and committed to the projects and the organization. To do that, the idea is to motivate them in a way that they move from the obligation to wanting to fulfill a task. To achieve this leadership, we have to know their four categories. Which are the four I's, like in India? These are individualized consideration, intellectual stimulation, inspirational motivation, and idealized influence. We are going to finish here with Unit 2, and in the next unit, we will see transactional and transformational leaderships in more detail.